And today we are live and talking about the Western Australian state nomination, the round which has just recently happened a couple of hours ago, I would say, not even an hour ago or so. Western Australia has given a big round and for the month of October, and they have invited the big range of occupations from the accountants to the taxation to the IT to engineers to chef. Probably if I talk about that, whether the invitations has been under the general stream or under the graduate stream, it has been a very mixed round for both. As long as you have lodged your EOI and meeting the minimum points criteria for that, you should have received an invitation, right? So talking about some popular occupations like accounting, which is into the taxation, as per my the things that I've seen, it seems like a taxation accountant were the one who were prioritized as compared to the accountant general or the management accountant. Taxation accountants have been invited as low as 80 points for 190. But the date of effect of an EOI was quite a bit ago, which was about in July 2020. So this is and if I talk about the chef also, we couldn't see the huge number of chefs have been invited, but for them also the 190 invites we have seen, they have received for as good as points like 80, but the date of effect of an EOI were about a year ago in July or August 2020 again. If you have received an invite for the 491, then that's probably because you have got the higher points onto that one. And seems like if the WA would do the another round next year, then you could have the chances of receiving an invite as long as you get minimum 80 points on your expression of interest for the popular occupations. For the interstate graduates under the, for the interstate under the general stream, the EOIs, we have seen that the applicants have been invited for the ones who are prioritized with living in Western Australia. The points we have seen has not affected those ones much because they have been invited to as low points as 70 or 75, but they have been living in WA. So I would recommend the interstate applicants who have been living interstate and they have got the points more than 70, we would recommend them, and that if they're looking forward for a Western Australian state nomination, they should be moving away and living over there. It doesn't matter whether you are living from last 1 month, last 10 days, or you're living from last couple of months or a week ago, it doesn't matter, because when you lodge in an expression of interest, it only asks for your residential postcode or your state. It does not ask from the date that you have been residing here. However, by doing that, when you are invited, the state would definitely ask you for the proof of residence that you are currently living in Western Australia, which could be your lease, your utility bills, or any other correspondence or a bank address or anything which could show that you have been living in Western Australia if you were an interstate applicant. The general stream applicants have been invited also into the range of all of those ones. All the trade applicants have been invited at as low as 75, but living in WA. And if they have got both the EOIs for 491 and 190, the 491 invitations has been received for those ones, irrespective of if you have meet the minimum points for the 190 also. But if you have lodged your 491, that's what we have seen, which is not the same from the last months of the rounds, because earlier in the last few months, if you have lodged both the EOIs and you are meeting the minimum points criteria of receiving an invite, then you are invited for the 190 and 491 both. However, in this round, if you have lodged two EOIs, they have invited you for a 491 more probably, or under the both under the two streams you can also be invited to. With the two streams, we mean that, let's say, for example, your occupation is in general accountant or a taxation accountant. You have lodged your expression of interest for the graduate stream because you have studied in WA and you are there under the general stream also. You could be invited from both the stream. If that's happening, then you are only supposed to take an invite or accept an invite from one stream only. If you accept the invite from both the streams, both will become null and void and your invitation will be deemed invalid. So we only request you, or we only advise you, that you should only be accepting the invites from under the one stream only. Let's say, for example, for a general and graduate, then definitely you go under the graduate stream because it's a lesser requirement that you have to show. You do not have to show a 12 month of a contract. In fact, you will go with 6 months of a contract or 6 months of an experience under the general stream. And now we are talking about what are the just very recently changes that WA state government has announced. Just recently, they have added a lot of occupations into the list, and mainly those were the teachers or the accountants and a few more IT occupations also. By adding those ones, we have seen in this round, the occupations which were added, they all have been invited under a huge round of Western Australia. Lots of people have also inquired about that. The Western Australia only has got 1,500 seats or the quota. Then how come we are receiving so many invites? The inquiry has been raised with the Western Australian state government for the same, and they said about 30% of the invites only get converted into the nomination, because either the invite gets invalid because the applicant accepts both the invites, which is under the two streams, or they do not have a contract and they do not provide the contract later even after accepting an invite, or the invite gets lapsed. The ratio that they have said of acceptance of an invite for under the general stream were not more than 30%, and under the graduate stream it was about 62 to 63%, which is quite good, because with the graduate stream you only need 6 months of a contract or an experience, which is the Australian experience. So if you are a graduate of Western Australia but you are not currently living in Western Australia, could be that's the reason that you might not have received under the graduate stream, then to those applicants we highly recommend them to come and move to Western Australia so that they become into the first priority for receiving an invite. Now, under the wet stream, again, only the applicants for the trade ones have been invited who have done the advanced diploma, and for 190 minimum, the 80 points, where the EOI was at least 1 year ago. The minimum EOI was for 19th of July 2020. And the most recent was the October 2020, which has received at 80 points. Otherwise, it was more than the 80 points for receiving an invite for 190. This is Preeti from Aussies, and this is all about the Western Australia. So I may take few questions from what queries do we have, and we take it up from there.
Preeti, I've got a few questions that's related to WA state nomination.
Yeah.
Akash Rana is asking, I got 491 nomination on 1st of October with 105 points for IT security occupation. I am an interstate applicant. I have submitted my nomination form on 3rd of October. How long does it take to get skill select invitation?
Akash, the current processing time of WA state application is about 6 weeks. So you need to wait for this one. If your visa is expiring within the next 3 months, then you can request for the priority processing. There's no extra fee for that. However, the WA can or may prioritize your application if your visa is expiring within the next 3 months, and you need to email them with the proof that your visa is expiring.
Lailam is asking, chef, 75 plus 5, living in WA, advanced diploma in WA, have work contract as well, and what is the chance to get invited?
Lailam, with the recent invitation round, we have seen 190 has been invited at 80 points. So, which is 70, yeah, so you should have been invited, but those 80 points, their EOI was lodged in July 2020. So, if your EOI is recent, then you may need to wait for maybe a couple of months or one or two more rounds, it depending upon when is your EOI date.
Ray is asking, any invitation for an accountant?
Yes, there have been quite a bit range of invitations for an accountant and for taxation or management accountant into range of those. We have seen WA has prioritized taxation accountant more as compared to the management or general accountant, and they have been invited at 80 points minimum from July 2020 EOI under the graduate stream, and under the general stream they have been invited at 105 points.
Sunny Lubana is saying he has 115 points for 491 as an accountant. Any chance of invitation?
Depending upon your date of EOI for this one and under what stream have you got it. If you only have got an accountant, we would highly recommend to put taxation also into this one and see if you could increase your chances for the same.
Harsh is saying his friend received nomination approval and applied for visa on 24th of August 2021. How much is the processing time for 491 as accountant?
Harsh, the visa processing time is between 5 months to 20 months. So with the 5 months, it means that your application needs to be decision ready and everything is uploaded and provided to the department. If department finds it's a decision ready, it can be within the 5 months, else it may go up to the 20 months.
Ashwin Raj is asking if any civil engineers were invited for the general stream and at what points.
So 90 points for the ones for the engineers which have been invited under the general stream.
Let me check more.
I would advise that if you have got any queries, you can write it over here, and otherwise we will always get back to you on your queries. If you have not lodged your EOI, you must proceed with lodging an EOI. Lodgement of an EOI is very important, because if that's not, and even if you're thinking that, okay, I've only got my 7 each, let me get my 8 each and then I'll lodge an EOI, don't do that, because when department, Western Australia state government is doing it, they are looking into the initial date of submission of an EOI, not the date of effect. So that makes a whole lot of a difference, because when you update with the 189, it is upon the date of effect. However, the WA state has confirmed they are looking into the initial date, so the first day when you have lodged an EOI, not when you have updated your EOI.
And I've also left a form in the comment section, so if anyone has query, they can fill up the form as well. One more question I've got. Someone with ICT security specialist as a nominated occupation for 190, is 70 points enough? They also have got job offer.
Then I would highly recommend you to move to WA. And when you move to WA, you do not have to wait for living in WA for so many months or anything. Because with the recent round, we have seen applicants who, for a general stream, living in Western Australia has been prioritized. So all the applicants who have got a job offer but are currently interstate are highly recommended to move to Western Australia to increase their chances of receiving an invite. And I haven't seen any applicant who is living in WA has not received an invite in this current round.
Okay, so even if they are interstate and they apply for the general stream, if
Yes.
they move to WA, they have higher chances of
Yes,
getting
definitely,
okay.
because they are they are prioritized as compared to the ones who have got the higher points also. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say I've gotten 80 points as a taxation accountant and I'm living in WA. However, there's another taxation accountant interstate at 105 or 115 points. The one living in WA is prioritized as compared to the one in interstate. So if you have got a contract, you should move, because you have got very high chances of getting an invite from the WA state.
Okay. Another question is Tamanna. My EOI stands at 85 points, and I have applied for WA 190 and 491. What are the chances of getting invitation as general accountant?
So is it under the general stream, Tamanna, or is it under the graduate stream? So as I said, the under the general stream, if you were interstate, you have not been invited. If you really want an invitation from WA, you need to come and move to WA and change your current residing state in your expression of interest. Your point seems enough to receive an invitation, but if it's under the general stream and you're interstate, then the chances are very low.
Uyen is asking, what's your advice on registered nurses in WA?
Today we have received quite a bit of invites for registered nurses also. However, they were the only ones who at least have got a 1 year experience in Australia or three years of an experience overseas, which has been mentioned in their expression of interest. If that's the case, then you should be invited. Also for the nurses, as per the recent announcement, the contract does not need to be from regional area anymore. The contract, even if you have got from a Western Australia metropolitan area, that's also acceptable for the nurses invite under the general stream.
Anjali Sharma is another registered nurse related question. She has 1 year of experience in Australia, but her working hour is not 20 hours per week. Total hour is more than 1,700 hours a year. Can she claim 5 points for her work experience?
Anjali, it is mandatory to be worked minimum 20 hours per week in your nominated occupation. If you have not and you claim the points, then you are deemed to have claimed the wrong points in your expression of interest. The 20 hours work that you need to put in your EOI can be from one employer or two employers. Let's say, for example, I'm working with any of an agency and I have worked 5 hours with one and 15 hours with others. I could still claim the points because I've worked 20 hours not overlapping with the employer, and it is for within 1 week itself. If it is not, then you should not claim the points because it is the legislative requirement to be working minimum 20 hours a week.
Rohan Sharma, he's asking what occupations are in the list. Can you please state everything in SOL, MLT, SOL, and GOL?
Oh, wow.
Which won't be possible.
Rohan, we could send you a link for those ones and you could have a look for that.
Do we need to have a job offer with a full-time or 20 hours per week?
Job offer is a full-time requirement. It's a 12 months of a job offer if you are invited under the general stream, or 6 months of a job offer if you are invited under the graduate stream, but it has to be full-time. If you have got two part-time contracts of including each other is 35 as a total, then that is also fine. They could accept the two part-time contracts also with, let's say, 15 is one and 20 is the other one.
Fenil is saying, I think regarding the invitation round, will the scenario stay same for next 2-3 months?
Hopefully, yes, it should, because with the recent announcement with the what the WA government has given, they have come up to the same criteria itself, because they said applicants who are living in WA will be prioritized, and today's round looks like the same itself. So I don't see anyone who's been interstate has been invited unless until they would be at very high points. But considering that, under the general or the graduate stream, both applicants living in Western Australia has been invited.
Okay. What are the residing documents do WA state government need for general stream living in WA?
You could provide your lease, you could provide your utility, can be the bank statement, having your address, could be any documents. Yeah. And in the very, very recent invitation, we have also seen, because they asked for the boarding pass, where the applicant has just said that he has recently moved. So yes, be particular about the date when what you put it in the application, because once you are doing an application, it could ask for the date when you started living.
And what would be the minimum salary for the employment contract?
As long as it is the market salary rate, that's fine, and depending upon the occupation also. for because you will be considered as the graduate. It could be a graduate engineer or a graduate accountant at a junior level or an entry level. So it does not has to be 53,900, which is the TISMET level, but if it meets the state market salary rate requirements or the pay scale of the state, then it should be fine.
Okay. Another question is, a lot of people ask this: if they already have the job offer, is there a better chance of them getting invited on the EOI, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter because your EOI does not, when the state is looking into their EOI, it doesn't even have got that this column of do you have a job offer or not yet or what. So they don't know, and it's being system being picking it up. So it matters whether you are living here or not. So if you have got a job offer, you should be thinking of moving to Western Australia. I think we take it up to here, and good luck everyone, and congratulations for the ones who have received an invitations today. If you have got any further queries or you're not sure about if you have received your invitation and not sure about whether the information in the UI was correct or anything about the contract or anything, please feel free to see us, and we are there to help you out all. Thank you so much for listening.